everybody, my name is Jessica and I'm back with you today to expand a little bit more on this past week's Technique Tuesday video. In this video, I had gone over a couple of dynamic stretches, and today I wanted to talk a little bit more about the difference between a dynamic or active type of stretching versus the more traditional static type of stretching that most people are more familiar with. So in that static type of stretching, you've probably seen a really common one is a hamstring stretch, where you're sitting on the floor, your leg is extended out in front of you, and you're reaching for your toes. That is a static stretch because you're not moving through a range of motion while you're doing it. You are specifically stretching one muscle group. In that example, that would be the hamstrings, and you're not using multiple joints to do that motion. It's one muscle group, usually one joint, and it serves a singular purpose. In a more dynamic stretch, you're stretching multiple muscle groups, moving multiple joints, getting through multiple ranges of motion in a more dynamic or active type of way. In Tuesday's video, I showed you one example for the lower body where the leg swings, and for the upper body were the open books, where you're laying on your back and opening and closing your arms. In those scenarios, you're working multiple muscle groups. So for the lower leg, it's the hamstrings, the calf, the hips, the glutes. All of those muscles are being stretched. The hip, the knee, the foot, even a little bit of the back with that rotation is being moved. We're getting multiple ranges in there and multiple muscle groups. And that's a good idea for you if you're doing more lower body activities such as running, tennis, basketball, things like that. The upper body stretch where you're opening and closing your arms would be a good idea for maybe if you're playing volleyball or racquetball. People like to do the dynamic or active stretches with more vigorous exercise, more intensive exercise. It's the person that's going to be out there playing a full game of basketball, a full game of tennis, or running drills, or doing something a little more intense. If you're doing activities such as a light walk around the park, maybe just a light jog, if you're on the tennis courts, maybe just hitting a ball back and forth, not really being too intense about it, then you're probably good to stick with a more static stretch. Again, it kind of just depends on what your goal is. If you're going to do a nice light activity, you're probably fine with sticking with a static stretch. If you're going to do more intense, vigorous activity, you can go ahead and try those more dynamic stretches. See how it feels. It really is personal to you, which one you like better. Say you try the dynamic ones and that was just too much, you're already worn out for your activity, then maybe it's not worth it for you. Or if you've been doing only static stretches up until this point and you feel like you're ready for more and you try the dynamic stretches and it feels good, you feel warmed up, you've got the blood flowing before your activity and it feels great, then that might be a really good option for you. Again, it's very personal and it's up to you. If you try one and don't like it, try the other, see if you like it, and figure out which one you like better. If you have any more questions for me related on this topic, the active or dynamic stretches versus static stretches, go ahead and leave it in the comments below and we'll get back to you. Thanks again for joining me for this video.